I designed my coaching program, Heavy Metal Training, for one simple reason. You see, after the first few weeks of coaching 99% of my clients, both online and in person, I found the one common denominator was that people had absolutely no clue how to train with the intensity that you need to build muscle. So Heavy Metal Training is the result of 10 plus years in fitness, transforming the lives and physiques of 300 plus individuals, and my own personal journey as well. Because I used to train up to 14 times per week, split between running, boxing and lifting. And I always thought that more just had to be better, right? But after years of coaching and running my own training, this really started to catch up on me. I felt fatigued, I hated training, and the rest of my life was just this semi-organised chaos. So Heavy Metal Training for me was the antidote. And now me and my clients are just lifting 3 to 4 times per week. But the difference is we are PRing every single lift pretty much most weeks, seeing insane results and claiming back hours of our lives to do whatever the fuck we want to do with them. This is in comparison to training 14 times per week and often moving backwards in a lot of my lifts because I was so fatigued. And overtraining is a big problem in the industry right now because the internet is just populated with guys with this no days off mentality, lifting every single day. But we're not in the 80s anymore, it's 2025, and actually there's science to prove that we know better, there are better ways to do things. And that means that whilst the gym is still a massive part of our lives, we've got other shit to be getting on with, like work, seeing friends, doing hobbies. But when we train every single day, it means we hardly have any time to do the things we love. And it feels like we either commit every waking minute to just holding on to our physique, or we enjoy ourselves a little bit and accept that we look like shit. But I wanted to find a way for us to have both. And so one of my big philosophies in life is simplicity. I want to get from point A to point B in the most efficient manner possible. That does not mean I don't want to work hard. Far from it, I want to work my ass off, but I want to know I'm not wasting any of my precious time spinning my wheels and doing shit that just doesn't work. Now, I like to use the carbonara analogy to illustrate my training philosophy. A classical great carbonara has 4 ingredients. We've got egg, parmesan, pasta and guanciale. Now you can try and add cream and all of the bullshit to try and improve the flavour like the Brits do, but in reality you should be focusing on sourcing the highest quality ingredients and carefully crafting them into a really, really good dish. And the exact same thing goes for your training. I've identified a couple of problems that I see a lot of guys face, and the first one is their identity. You don't really see yourself as capable of achieving the results that you see everyone else getting online, and you'll blame things like genetics and the fact that you don't have the same amount of time they have. But that just doesn't really fly with me because I've helped so many guys who had seemingly shit genetics get into ridiculous shape, like Dave right here, and we've got Alex right here as well. Now their problem was pretty simple. They needed a change in how they viewed themselves, and so we ran the frame shift system to completely rewire their foundations and how they approached the structure of their day-to-day lives. And in doing so, Dave completely changed his base code and lost 45 kilo, transforming his health, getting off all of his meds and moving from a double XL to a small. And Alex credited the focus on mindfulness and structure inside HMT for his job promotion. The second problem is a pretty simple fix inside the program, and that's your ego. As a guy, you are pretty hardwired to try and do it all yourself. When you surrender and realize that actually you don't really know how to train properly, and yet your intensity was pretty dog shit before you started, it's really, really freeing, right? Handing over the reins to me helps put a fresh perspective on what you're doing right now. And I can honestly say that most guys who've been supremely confident in their methods were going wrong in so many areas before they started up. You can't read the label from inside the jar, and that's why having a coach who's seen it all and done it all really, really helps. Not only that, but your life is made up of all kinds of stresses, which we call our allostatic load. And yet we somehow think the answer is to add more and more stresses on top, like more training, harsher diet and more work. But that just ends up breaking us. We need a healthy dose of stress that comes from shifting your inputs and starting to nourish yourself first. And taking the stress out of the unknown out of your routine is a game changer. And letting me worry about your programming and nutrition means you simply have to just show up and do what is asked. To do so, we will use the Max Results framework, which is a framework that I built to help my clients set up all the smaller details surrounding their sessions to ensure that they squeeze every single last drop out of every single set they're doing. Now, my client Graham here literally doubled his lifts in a matter of weeks using the template that I laid out for him, and by providing constant footage of his sessions for me to break down and improve. Now, your last issue is nutrition, which I always say is a fucking minefield. And again, simplicity is the answer. I had previously had a shitload of resources available for clients, but eventually I just boiled them down, everything I know, into just one small document called the Simple Nutrition OS. This document houses absolutely everything you are going to ever need to know about food, so that the guesswork is gone and you can start fueling for performance and aesthetics as well. If everything I have spoken about today with you has really struck a chord, I'm here to help. I don't want you to keep spinning your wheels. I don't want you to think you've got to train like Arnie multiple times per day or 6 or 7 times per week just to end up looking mediocre. I want you to use targeted, effective sessions that maximize your return on time. I want you installing my simple nutrition systems to help you hit your macros like clockwork with tasty, nourishing food and not shitty, boring chicken and boiled rice out of a Tupperware box. I want you to reframe your identity so that you can operate on a higher level every single day, get promotions like Alex did, and develop supreme confidence like the 300 plus other guys who have been through my program have done since working with me. So if this sounds like something you would be interested in, you can click the link in my bio to book a call to discuss the options that I have got available for you.